what should the future education system in the Sartell-St. Stephen School District look like. So we were talking more about educational strategies. We were talking about more of what we need, not what square footage we need, but what kind of things are needed in a classroom to make it be effective. So we've done all that, did that prior to the end of the school year. Then over the summer, our architect team brought in some other engineers to look at all of our facilities, every building that we have, and say, okay, if we're going to try to get those to meet the needs of what we were talking about here, what would it cost? What kind of things would we have to do? And do we have enough? And that's now where we are on our 3 meetings when we come back in September and October, looking at those. What's it going to do to be able to provide the kind of quality environment necessary to provide a good education? We're very interested in hearing what our community has to think about that. And of course, because we're a publicly supported institution with tax dollars, everybody also wonders, well, what's that going to cost? And so that will also be some of the things that we bring out in the fall. What is it we think we might need? How much might this plan cost? How much might this plan cost? Does it mean a new elementary? Does it mean a new middle school? Does it mean a new high school? Does it mean additions? What does it all mean? And hopefully we can come out in a logical approach in the fall and say, here are the numbers, here's what we'd like to do with it, what do you think? And here's how much it's going to cost you on your property tax bill, which, by the way, we're going to make sure we are very efficient with that. So let's see what we can do with it. I needed to figure out who we are. Who is Sartell-St. Stephen? What makes us tick? How have we operated? Who are the people that work, who not only at the school district, but within the community? And I've got a lot more to learn along that lines, but I feel like I've made some inroads in that area. So I think that's been the biggest one. It's also been my biggest challenge, because it's not like you just have to figure out, okay, as long as I know the city council here in Sartell or the city manager, that's all I need to know. Well, no, there's a lot of other factors because we are so intertwined in our communities. So it's been a challenge, and it's been one I enjoy. I like that side of it. We need to make sure our kids in our school district are prepared for the fact that they're not going to live in Sartell their entire lives. They're going to go out and be a part of a much larger world. And it's a great larger world, but it's different than the one they live in here. So the incidents in Ferguson last fall, in South Carolina here this spring, some of the things that are going on in our own internal community within St. Cloud in terms of how do different races get along, how do different ethnic groups, how do old and young get along and do all those things. We need to make sure we have our kids prepared for that. So what we're doing this next year is bringing in some speakers to work with our staff, not with our kids, but with our staff. So our staff, when they have opportunities to speak about things with their kids, they're speaking from a position of knowledge rather than speaking from a position of, well, I think that's what it was 20 years ago when I was at school. And so we're going to try to make our kids more prepared by making sure our staff is knowledgeable about the changes in what's happening around us.